everyone, welcome back to another video. I thought I'd update you on one of the most recent artworks that I've done. For anyone who doesn't know, I tend to sit down and talk about any sort of artwork that I'm in the process of when I'm either stuck or I've gotten to a point I just kind of need to verbally digest, think about how I can get this artwork into an actual final piece, because as you may notice, I work from home when it comes to the art. Like this painting here that you can see, this is a few years old and I still haven't finished it. But it's a work in progress and we like works in progress. So if you have no idea what my next art is, I will quickly brief you. So it's this one. This is taken from a drawing in my sketchbook. Now I wanted to go down the art poppy route and try and figure out a drawing in basically a printmaking way. I wanted to keep away from the usual oil paints, pastels. I wanted to create something a bit more art poppy and a bit more vibrant and a bit less obvious. Like with this oil pastel drawing, you can see that these aren't the colours, the natural colours of the plant. This is a drawing of a lily plant, like a house plant. And I wanted to use the colours of the actual lily on the outside in the background, whereas I wanted the actual artwork and main piece to be different variations of really cool, well, vibrant colours and make it a bit more art poppy. I think that's the best way of translating it. So I went away and I said I was going to do some sort of printmaking version of it and try and figure out how to get the vibrant colours and the whole shebang of making this piece vibrant, art poppy and just in your face. Something a little bit different from my usual artworks, a bit more subtle some of them are. But thinking, how am I going to be able to do some sort of printmaking process without doing screen printmaking, because that process can take a lot of time and effort and materials when you obviously don't have enough space. So I decided to photograph copies of that artwork that I've just shown you. So this is one of 4 pieces and each layer has different colours. So this is literally just a photograph of it. I've cut out the areas which I want to include in the different colours. So it's still a little bit wet. There we go. I used this kind of like a stencil, put it onto paper which had a green background that was similar to the same colour in the oil pastel. It wasn't completely the same because actually replicating that vibrant colour found to be much more harder than I thought it would, and I struggled a lot on this profile, like the colour profile, throughout doing these next 2 artworks that I'm going to show you and that I want to be discussing about. So I'm going to talk about piece number 1. So this one, after putting in a load of colours onto the piece of paper which was some sort of similar in the vibrant green colour, I then stenciled on top of each piece using printing ink and a spatula to press it on and see what happened. And this is basically the end result of all layers. Now, I have never made a piece so random in terms of colour profile composition, because even though parts of me love this, I also sort of hate it because it's not doing what I want. And I find like the weight of the paper is actually quite heavy and that's annoying me. I don't know why, it's just one of those sensory things that I find. Now as you can see all the different layers of colours. You've got the purple at the bottom which turned out to be more of a brown. I couldn't get any vibrant or lighter. The yellow worked fabulous. I wish I took a picture of the first layer of just the yellow because that worked so well. The colour yellow within these paints, with these printing inks, has worked incredibly well, and I think it just made it and gave it that bit of oomph that I was looking for. The pink layer, which is the next one, I find did work, but I feel like at that point I just started to add on the layer without really thinking about making sure the colour was the vibrancy and I'm not gonna lie, you can kind of see I was slopping paints on. It's doing what it is in terms of the composition and the structure of the object, but this is just not doing it for me, which is okay. I have an idea of what I want to do with this, because obviously I've used paint, I used paper, because I didn't realise I also use a virgin piece of paper, so I'm going to need to try and use it somewhere else. And what I can take away from this positively is that I don't think printmaking inks are going to be the way forward. There was a lot of things I've learnt from it that I actually have patience for things, and I really did enjoy the process of me cutting it out and printing onto the piece of paper. I found that very, very therapeutic, and it set me up for the next sort of piece, which after staring at for about 20 minutes after I finished it, I realised what was wrong and what I needed. So this is the second version. This is on non-version paper, because you've got a print on the back and then we have the main culprit. So this one is what more I'm going towards. I love the green. The green is so lovely and vivid. And as you can see, the difference in colour, the main one is the purple. The purple is more of a browny maroon colour, which isn't what the colour I wanted, compared it to the first piece. But it's the colour that I could get, which wasn't going to affect the outcome as much. Also adding to this, I have outlined all the individual bits, not the bits that are like, so take this part, these two bits are touching, so I haven't been able to outline it, but I've just been outlining the rest of it, and I find that has just made it that extra layer. It made it so much less flat and more poppy into the eye. Maybe if I outline the other one, it might be easier to look at. This one's more raw, and even though it's the same colour background, there's more of a sense of achievement with this one, and it's made me realise that I think painting is going to have to be the way forward for this project. I still think this one is so much more successful. Like, this one is one of those ones that I can go away and sell it and be really, really happy to name it as an artwork. But comparing it to what I want it to be, it is not there yet. But it's still a few steps forward comparing it to this version. Now, some of you may disagree with me, some of you may prefer the oil pastel version, but I find this one a bit more art poppy. Moving forward, I do want to work in oil paints, but also part of me is just like, maybe just go away and have a little think about it, because oil paints obviously are more expensive, but you can get a variety of brightly coloured oil paints that will be bang on the nose for the types of colour I'm wanting. So I'm maybe thinking about doing some art research and seeing what actually there is out there in terms of art pop, still life paintings or drawings of plants and any other fauna. Is it fauna and fauna? Flora and fauna, maybe. But yeah, so that's where I've gotten up to. It's a bit of a but I think I am going to outline the other piece just to see how it is, and maybe do some art research. But this is one of those projects you're going to have to just sit down and stare at it and research until you figure out what you want from it. Because a lot of the times when I was looking at the piece, I was like, what do I actually want out of this? Is it the colour? Is it the composition? Is it the texture? Is it the marks? And I'm like, every single time it's always been, I want the colour. The colour is what I'm after, the vibrancy, and I wasn't able to get that from the printing ink, so I really need to take a step back and think about what and how I can get those vibrant colours without it hindering on the piece. Size wise, I think it's fine. I could say that that's completely off, but I do feel like just the outlining of the pieces have really just brought it together. It makes it more of one unit rather than separate bits and pieces that you can clearly see that have been printed on top. But without painting or drawing any sort of ideas, I cannot move forward, so I'm just going to take a step back, do some art research and have a little bit of fun. when eventually I will come up with an idea of how to progress further on, I will let you guys know. I will fill you in. This is very much a little drop in now and again because I have a lot of other artworks I'm trying to bounce off of and allow myself to give myself some time to be able to do it. Like this painting you would have seen on Wednesday, I did about 10-15 minutes worth because that's all I could do. That's how much I could concentrate for. No matter how long it takes, I will eventually get it done, and when it is there to be done and finished and up to sell, I will be so thrilled. I never really got never understood fully how an artist can take years to do a painting, and now I'm like, yeah, I get it. I really do get it. And they were full time. I've still got another painting which is longer than this. I've still been painting far longer than this. I think this is a good few years old actually, and it's just incredibly difficult to be like, that's it. Anyway, I hope that makes some sort of sense and I'm not just projectile vomited onto you about random bits and words. If you guys have any questions or you've noticed anything similar throughout the process of these two artworks, please let me know because it really help. If there's any artists you would suggest for me to take a look at, please do leave them in the description box, in the comment section below. That will really help me out. If you have anything to add or anything to subtract, put them in the comment section. Also, whilst you're down there, there's also links to my social medias and also my eBay selling account and also my Vinted account, which is where you can find all my artworks that I show on my channel, plus a couple of extras. If you're not already, please like and subscribe because it does help me out in the long run. I'm on 325 and I really do appreciate every single one of you. It doesn't take very much to just press that like button, but to actually come back and view my works, it's amazing. Anyway guys, thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your day and a lovely weekend, and I shall see you later. Bye!